Everybody, we are back with Therapy Without a Degree. I got Gisell here with me today. My name is Ryan. Thank you to Joe Fucarino for having me come on the pod today and be the host today. I appreciate you, seriously. Around this time last year, I did my first pod with Joe, which was basically my first therapy session ever, which then led me to start going to actual real therapy. So that's going to open up my question to Gisell. My first question is, do you currently go to therapy?
Okay, that is a very difficult question to answer. Okay, so I don't actually go to active therapy because I haven't gotten to that point yet to sit with a therapist talking back and forth, but I have sought mental help. And that looks a little bit different for me than therapy right now. I see a psychiatrist.
Gotcha.
I got to a point in my life where I realized, you know what, like everyone has their vice. Usually adults, you work a 9 to 5, you have your vice. You drink coffee in the morning, you have a shot of espresso. Some people have a cigarette. Some rich people about to hit the stock market might do a line of blow. I felt like, you know what, why are we looking for these vices? Why can't we just like raw dog the world? Like, why can't we be productive? And I looked into myself and I realized I need to find my why and like why I couldn't do that without a vice. So I saw psychiatry and I started becoming medicated. And that's how I'm like able to like do my day-to-day. And eventually I have a lot on my plate right now because I work full time and I'm a student and I'm about to graduate. But once I graduate, I will do therapy like once a month. I just kind of can't fit it into my schedule right now.
No, that makes sense. So what does your schedule, your daily schedule look like right now? Like, what do you do? Like, what do you get into on the daily? And then also, what are you doing for school?
So, I'm a criminal justice major. My ultimate, dream, I want to do forensic science. I want to get my bachelor's and my master's, in forensic science. And, my day to day, I wake up at before I sought my psychiatrist, my day-to-day was very burdensome. Like I would wake up right before I was about to get ready for work, shit, shower, shave is what they say. Hit the door, go to work, come back, maybe do some homework, go to sleep. I didn't really have a really functioning routine. After I became medicated, as I like to call it, it's true. My mornings are super productive. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, relaxed, energized, ready to start my day. I shower. I started getting extra dressed for work in the morning, I would say. I try a little bit harder with my outfits. I used to wear scrubs. I work in the dental field, but instead of wearing scrubs every day, I wear regular outfits because I'm the office manager. I don't really have to dress down. So I started doing that. I started making outfits of the day videos and posting them on TikTok to put myself out there a little more. I realized I was in a box before and I was like, wow, there's so much out there I can do. So I started doing little things like that to kind of give myself a little bit more enthusiasm for my day.
Yeah. No, it's crazy when you start focusing on your mental health, understanding that there actually is some life to be lived out there, right? And not everything is such feels gross, basically. Right. It's the feeling of
exactly
when you're not, thinking about your mental health, you're not making that a priority. Sometimes that just can really override all of your emotions.
I kind of tell people if you saw someone bleeding on the street or with a broken leg limping, oh, this hurts, you would feel so bad for them. But when it comes to your mental health and people might vocalize that, people might not be like, oh my God, they're really hurting, because they don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that I was living a life of like suffering, just like pushing through regular things rather than enjoying them. So now I have more time and more clarity. And yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
No, I can't wait. I can't wait to do therapy.
That is amazing. I'm super curious to learn more about like what made you just take that jump into going to like a psychiatrist. Like, what was that moment like for you?
I felt like I struggled my whole life, like in general, being happy, like finding genuine happiness. And I would always like compare myself to other people. Like, why does their life look like this? Or why do they feel so good all the time? And like, I kind of have to like fake it. And then my world like crumbled a couple years ago. My brother passed away. And I struggled a lot with that relationship that I had with him. So then I realized that a big reason of why I struggled with the relationship with him and kind of couldn't fix it before he passed was because of a lot of things I was lacking as well. So I couldn't be present as much. And I didn't want to lose any more time with the people that I loved. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be able to be present and not hide behind the things that were holding me back anymore. So I realized like I was just like on autopilot. I was not giving everyone my true self. I was not giving anything my 100%. So I wasn't going to succeed or ever be happy that way. So I realized I needed help. I needed to like, I definitely needed to see like the same way, like if you have a toothache and it's like, oh my God, I need to go to the dentist, or it's like I have a stomachache, I had to go to the doctor. Like I realized I couldn't live, I guess, a normal life. I'm like, I need help.
No, it's a great way to put it, that it might not be so visible to people.
Right.
You know, like mental health is obviously not so visible to people unless you're seeing someone like actually struggling. Like you see them maybe like holding their head, right, something like that, of that nature. But that's such a great point. I wonder, that just made me just like think back to a lot of different moments, I feel like, like where you might want somebody to see it so that you do feel seen in a way. But like, I have so many questions for you, because I'm usually like, I usually am an interviewer type of guy. So that's why I'm asking so many questions. But I also like, it does kind of put the like answers out there and just the perspective out there. What do you see as the biggest differences, or what are some of like your daily routine differences from before and after that you think have now like really extended you or have brought you to a better place now that you also are feeling better mentally? Right. Like what are some of those things that you're doing, like the menial tasks that you get done every day?
So waking up early is now one of the biggest ones. Yeah. I naturally find myself waking up early now, where that has become key to my routine. Before, I used to wake up like right before my day had to start, so I felt super sluggish. I never felt 100% already off when I woke up, off when I got out the bed.
There's literally nothing better than just waking up right when your eyes open, no matter what time that is, even if it's, let's say that you typically wake up at 6:30. Mm-hmm. Like if you wake up at 5:30, you should just get up.
Right. That skipping the snoozing button changed my life.
The best thing in the world. Like I recommend that to every single person. One, I don't use an alarm at all. Like I just have a clock in my head.
That's so funny you say that, because I wake up like at 4:30, 4:45 every day, but I still have my alarm now as a safety blanket because I don't trust myself. Yep. I'm like still stuck on that. But yeah, me either. I kind of don't even need an alarm anymore.
It's so internal into my body. Like my whole life I've been a morning person.
Oh, I can't relate.
Literally, like
I'm so happy I'm here though.
My whole entire life, and I have tried to convince so many people into becoming a morning person. But it's a struggle. Like it's definitely not easy. You have to be super intentional about it. I'm fortunate enough that I kind of just grew up that way. And like my time that I first opened my eyes is 6 a.m. Yeah. Naturally. But I do find myself snoozing myself and waking up at like 6:45 or 7. When I do that, I have my worst days.
Yeah.
Like when I just get up,
bet.
I feel like $1 billion, and I feel like I could take over anything I want to that day.
Right. And it gives you more time to like reflect. Like I like to think in the morning now, and I like to look at myself in the mirror. I know it sounds silly. I gain a lot of my confidence when I'm getting ready in the morning now.
That's fast.
And I feel so much better when I'm walking out that door, even though I'm going to clock into a job that is still not like my career that that is my dream career. But I feel so much better about my day now when I do that. I listen to intentional sounds in the morning while I'm getting ready. I listen to intentional music on my way to work, and I have time to like pull over and like just look at the sky if I want to.
Yeah.
And then like I'll sit in the parking lot and veg for a little while before I go clock in because I have time now. But yeah, I treasure those moments. I really love my mornings now.
Yeah, like when I have those moments where I get somewhere early, because I'm also an early person. Because I'm a morning person, I also like to get places early.
Early's on time is late.
Yeah, exactly. So like I'll do that as well, where I'll get somewhere 10 minutes early just so that I can like either listen to something or read my book before I go into somewhere, or that might be the moment where I'll say, all right, this is where I'm gonna be on my phone like for a little bit so that I don't overuse it. Like I'll use those moments to try to balance myself correctly. Like if I know I need to call somebody, that's when I'll call them. Right. Like I love having those little
I make my
gaps.
doctor's appointments in the morning. I do all of those little phone calls, or like, well, now they have my chart for whoever, you can make your appointments on my chart, but I'll sit there and I'll do
this
that.
episode is sponsored by my chart. No, imagine. But yeah, no, like I've been super intentional as well. And like, I'm not even going to lie. Like I fall off of this a lot, but I'm really, really trying to commit to this in my present moment, is writing down my lists. Like I am a freak when it comes down to writing my list and making sure that my list is super intentional, making sure I write it the night before. Like when I do that.
Did you get that trick through therapy?
No, wait, what is it
like
called?
Writing everything down. Did you get that trick through therapy?
Not really.
Okay.
I actually was doing that a lot before I went to therapy. And then I think just so many different things had gone on in my life. Like I was so pushed and pulled to so many different directions that I stopped writing a list. But then to soon find out that because I stopped writing my list, that's why I was getting pushed and pulled into so many different directions, because I didn't know what I was going to do for the day. So now I'm waking up. Now I'm hitting my snooze button because I didn't have my day set out. Whereas like the last 2 days, just as an example, I had my like 6 main things I needed to do for those days. I get them completed by 1 p.m. and then I make a second list for the day to get more stuff done. And I literally feel like a champion by the time I'm going to sleep. And then I'm excited to wake up because I have my list for the next day.
Exactly. I know the list is what keeps you on point because it tells you what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, I think it's just the fact of having the routine of sitting there and writing the list. Veering away from routine a lot will mess up your day. Because ever since I started doing the Alpha to the Day videos in my car, I feel like $1 million. And even if I get to work, like, and I'm like, I have to do an Alpha, I'll sit there in the parking lot and I'll do that video just to not break the routine. Even if I'm already feeling like $1 million, it's just like, I got to keep on doing what I started so I could finish it. That's kind of how I went back to college, by the way.
Gotcha. Now, this just made me think, or this begs me to ask the question, like, those days that you're feeling the motivation and everything, you're feeling like $1 billion, you also are like making sure you're still staying consistent with what you're doing and making sure you push that envelope forward. What do you do when you don't have that motivation or you don't have that vibe for the day?
Okay, I fake it. I talk to myself. I try to say positive things. I literally will sing in the mirror. I will dance in the mirror. Like I will. My fiance knows because like that is definitely true. I do all of the things that they tell you. Like they tell you like if you're feeling sad, like just smile at yourself in the mirror, and like after a while, like it'll be real. Like I do those kind of things. I'm the type of person. You know when you have like an angel and a devil, I'm always the angel. Like even when I'm feeling like I always try to keep that like until it becomes real again. because I don't want to let myself like fall into that funk. And then even sometimes, like, let's say the outfit of the day video, if I'm not really feeling it, or I'm wearing something so basic, my shirt is wrinkled. Actually, the other day my shirt was wrinkled and I didn't have time to really do it. And I'm like, oh, now I can't do a video. I did the video anyway. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep it real in this video. I'm just doing this to keep the routine, but I have dry hairspray in my hair and my shirt is wrinkled. Like, it is what it is. But I felt good keeping the routine. And yeah, I just pushed through it.
Yeah, no, that's great. Now, I know you had touched on it a second ago, but like, you saying that had brought you back to school and going to college. So talk to me about your school journey, because before we got on the pod, you told me that you had dropped out as a sophomore. Yep. So I'm very, very curious on what that path looked like after that and how you got to the point now.
Very rocky. So when I was, like I said, I always struggled, I think, with my mental, emotional health ever since I could remember. For what reason, I don't know. I'll probably unpack that in therapy. Mm. I think I'm starting to understand why, like, little by little. But so I had such bad social anxiety that my social anxiety transpired into nausea. I would always be sick. Like, I would always be sick. My friends back in the day, like when I was young, they would always think like I would make it up. Like, oh, she's just acting like she's sick, or she's going to the nurse because she wants to go home. But like, I'll actively be sick and throwing up, have to go home early, or be so sick in the morning my parents can't take me to school. But by the time my friends get out of school, I'm fine. And I promise I wasn't faking it. I told everyone I wasn't faking it. Anyway, eventually, like when I was, I'd say like 7th or 8th grade, I did go to therapy around that time. My mother took me to therapy, and it was like a social anxiety, type of thing that was happening. Like, I was just really anxious to be around people, I guess, because I wasn't confident enough with myself. It's an awkward stage you're going through. So I felt like I would do better on my own. I decided like I was going to make a plan to fast forward like 8th, 9th grade. Sophomore year hits. It's like the beginning of sophomore year. I made a plan to drop out. I told my parents. My dad was super against it. A bunch of my friends were super against it. They're like, what are you doing? I had a high school sweetheart at the time that was a senior. And by the time he graduated, I had already dropped out. My mother signed me out. She believed in my plan. I wanted to get my GED, go to college, do this thing on my own. Because I just can't be around this. I can't be in this institution. Like, I feel like I need to like guide my own way. So I did that. I went to Bergen. Along the way, I didn't go to school for the right things. Like, I did like basic stuff that I wasn't passionate about. And after I found myself now, where I'm now like 100% emotionally, mentally healthy, I know what I want to do, and it's always been forensic science. It's always been, and I'll tell you why in a second. It's always been that, and I started going to Berkeley, I would say like about 10 years ago. That's when I realized like I kind of wanted to do that, and I couldn't finish because of financial reasons. Berkeley gave me an opportunity to go back to school through something called a project graduation program. I took the opportunity, and I will now graduate May 9th of this year.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Thank
you.
Wow. So you got your GED, and what grade would that have been?
It would have been 10th grade for me.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, I had a friend that one of my closest friends growing up, Emmanuel, he had dropped out, I think, his sophomore year of high school, and he had gotten his GED the same year.
Yeah.
And he's crushing it. Like, he's a complete artist.
Yeah.
He just is
no one ever believes you're going to do it if you drop out.
Of the arts. Yeah, but he definitely is doing it. And like, I remember just being like, I respect your decision, because his decision was his decision. Like, he made the decision himself. And I respected that he made the decision himself, but also had the game plan to move forward and not just like stop.
Right, exactly.
It wasn't just like, no, like it's just ain't for me type thing. It was like, no, I have a plan. I think that the school is slowing my plan down.
Right,
like that was his plan. I was like, oh my God. Like,
and to everyone else, that sounds crazy, but it's like,
yeah, no,
I get it.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So tell me why you're studying what you're studying now?
So I'm really, really passionate about criminal justice because I enjoy bringing happiness to people in general. Like that's my goal. I love to bring happiness and positivity to people. And when people are victims of crime or injustice, that takes that away from them involuntarily. And I'm a huge advocate towards bringing closure to families that have been a victim of violence or criminal acts against them or their families, victims of violence that had led to death. I particularly want to study forensic science for that reason. I want to investigate this dead bodies. That sounds crazy, but because first of all, that is the biggest. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get emotional because
yeah, it's totally okay.
But when you lose someone when someone dies, already that is something that no one can explain that feeling when you lose that person. It could be of a natural cause. It could be of something expected. But when you lose someone to violence, it is an unimaginable pain that I could never, ever put into words for anyone. I can't imagine what it would feel like for them. And I want to be one of the people on the team, if not the person for a lot of these cases, to bring closure to those families. I think it's really important. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. No, I think it is definitely very important. I had lost somebody when I was younger through my like good friend that he was like my neighbor's nephew, and he was around my age. Maybe he was like maybe 4 years older than me. And I grew up with him. Every summer he would come and live in Ritchie Park. His name was Kermie. And every summer we would be vibing. He was from North Bergen, so he would come over here. His parents were like, "You don't need to be chilling in North Bergen in the summers. Like, you need to be over here."
Go to the suburbs.
Yeah. So he'd be chilling with me, and such an amazing guy. And then I think when he was like probably 16 or 17, that somebody had stabbed him outside a party in Jersey City, and I just remember like hearing the news, and I was maybe 13, something around that age, and just being like, what the hell? And they basically were like misinformed or misidentified him. It wasn't supposed to be him.
Wow.
And it was just like it was like such a gut punching.
I can't imagine what that's like, especially at that age, and for the parents. Because no parent should have to. It's just not the natural way of the world. Like, no parent should have to bury their child. No,
I agree. And you wanting to learn about this and diving into it and about to graduate with your degree in it, was that influenced by a specific moment, or was that like, what was your influence to get into it? Was it a specific moment, or was it just something that you like over the years got into?
I can't tell if it was a specific moment per se, but I went through a lot. I won't go into detail about it, but I went through a lot experiencing violence, I would say. I knew about crime and violence before I should have known what it was. I think that's the reason. I also grew up watching a lot of like Forensic Files, and like I love, still to this day, like I love that stuff. Like I love those shows. I love those documentaries on YouTube. I literally go to sleep watching that stuff. I know it sounds so like creepy, but it's like
my sister also loves all of those shows. Like when she's my adopted sister, and when she moved into my house, she would only watch NCIS, like Forensic Files, this one, that one. And now she's a corrections officer in a jail. Yeah. So it just like perfectly lines up. Yes, and she also wants to like be a detective and wants to do all these things. So I love it. Those shows are very influential because they're the best shows.
They are.
Like, they really are.
And what's so interesting about it is not necessarily because people are like, why would you want to watch that stuff, like horrible things happening? It's not about the horrible things happening. It's about the littlest thing that brings closure to that horrible thing that happened. Like, you'd be surprised. It's just, it's so intriguing. And I'm going to be one of those people in real life one day.
Yeah. Wow. No, that's like, that is a wild job to have, but it's very, very intriguing.
Hopefully it'll be okay mentally on me, because I know that that's also a big thing when it comes to like those type of careers. That's like really mentally taxing on you.
Oh yeah.
Really emotionally taxing. So hopefully I get a good handle on that.
What are some of the biggest things that you've learned at college that like in this field? Like, what's something that might have jumped out at you? And then also, what is something that you thought like you knew and you actually did know it? You know what I mean?
Wow, that I'm in finals week, and to put me on the spot right now, my brain is fried. I would have to think about that. That's really deep. Let's see.
Yeah, that is pretty deep.
That really is.
Try to have the hard hitting questions over here.
Let's see. Rephrase it a little bit. Maybe I can hit it.
So at college, going into it, kind of having a passion for it already.
Right.
I'll just ask one question at a time.
All right.
So having a passion for it already, is there anything that jumped out at you that you didn't know about this field that you really learned now?
Okay. Yes. Something just jumped out at me right now
Cool.
when you said that. So it's incredibly high, the number of sexual assault victims. A lot of it does not get publicized. A lot of kidnapping. The number is so unreal. I wouldn't even be able to tell you the number. I forget the number. It goes up every day, but it's so unreal that it cannot be publicized because people will not be able to live their regular lives. You would be scared to go outside with your kid. You would be scared to have your 12-year-old kid, because they live next door to 7-Eleven, like just go to 7-Eleven real quick by themselves, because the number is incredible.
It's alarming.
High. It's alarming.
Wow. Okay. And then question number 2 was, is there anything that you're like, oh yeah, like this makes sense? Like, I learned this from a show.
Okay. So, yeah. Hair follicles, blood splatter, all the stuff you see in the shows. Everything that you touch, even though you think you go like this, like there's still probably part of your fingerprint there. There's a lot of stuff. The shows are pretty accurate to what it is.
That's good to know.
It doesn't happen. Okay, the thing about the shows, it doesn't happen overnight. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
It definitely is way longer. Cases are way longer drawn out, especially like depending on the severity of the case and the details of the case. But when it comes to the evidence, it's pretty spot on with the shows.
Wow. Man, that's so exciting. And then, like, now that you're going to be graduating from it, do you already have a plan or a plot or something that's coming that, like, you already know you're going to be in a position?
I don't, but I know that I want to work for the NYPD. I want to definitely work for the NYPD in the forensics department or the, criminal investigation unit or something like that. How I start that, I wouldn't know because I haven't looked into it yet. It's crazy because this opportunity was kind of just thrown in my lap to graduate and get this degree, and I took it because I would be so stupid not to. And I didn't think that far ahead. And I've been in the dental field for 10 years. I'm a dental office manager. I have a job already. And then the finances of it, it's like at 31, when are you ready to start over and maybe start from scratch? Because having a degree is not the same as having experience.
It's true.
So there's a lot of things that I have to think about.
Maybe you could
when it comes to the career switch.
Yeah, maybe you could be in like the forensics field where they're like checking the teeth.
Yes, a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
The dental records.
That was like the low-hanging
X-rays.
fruit that I just had to grab real quick. But
I also have an X-ray license because of my dental experience, so that's a good point you brought up.
I mean, it works hand in hand together.
It does.
That's awesome. So I want to get back into kind of like what you were saying about daily routine and stuff like that. I have another question for you, which is like, Do you have any daily affirmations, or do you have any mantras that you use that put you in that, like, I'm going to get it today type of vibe for you?
It's a song. Can I show you?
Yes.
Every morning. Okay.
Will this get flagged, Joe? On YouTube? Yeah.
Okay. How about I sing it for you guys?
I would love that.
I'm not a singer, but I'll sing it for you guys. And that's my mantra.
I'm super curious to hear the song.
Can I say the song? Or
Yeah.
The song is Good Day by Forrest Frank. Has anyone...
I thought you were just going to say Good Day by Nappy Roots, because that's one of my favorite songs ever.
No, but I'm going to sing it. This is going to be a comedy episode. All right, it goes, okay. I'm about to have a good day.
Yep.
No matter what they say.
Yep. Uh-huh.
The sun is shining down on me. Birds are singing praise. I'm about to have a good day.
Good day.
In every single way.
Every way.
This is the best part. The God who made the universe knows me by my name, so it's a good day.
I love that.
I
That's a fire song
definitely
to start out with.
am not a singer, so we already went over what my job is.
I am a singer, actually.
Are you?
I sing. I play guitar. I sing. I play drums.
Oh,
in a
okay.
band.
I should have gave you the lyrics.
Yeah, nah, but I'm not.
Joe,
not
can
like
we?
That. Yeah, right. Imagine. Oh my God, that's a great way to start your day.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
if you hear the whole song, listen. Play that in your car on your way to work. Just you won't even have traffic.
Nah, that
You won't
like
even
I have the song that I listen to is it's called Good Day, but it's by Nappy Roots, and that song is like I love that song.
You should sing it.
Yeah, it's like gonna have a good day, and all these shall gonna fly
Oh
away.
yeah.
It's all that today. I don't even know the words. And all they do is get high today.
Hey, you're gonna have a good day. I know that song too.
It's
That's
like
a
kids'
good one.
voices too.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like
gonna
just
put
like
that one
so
in my playlist.
joyful.
Yeah.
And then there's another song. It's called Beautiful Day. I forget who it's by, but there was like a video that went viral on Instagram. And it was like a kid in Africa singing.
Oh yeah.
He's like, "Thank you for sunshine. Thank you for rain."
Yeah, I
play
love
song
that. That
almost
is
every
so
day.
cute. I love that too. That is so cute.
Like
I love
that
things
story
like that.
was so cool to me because it showed the really great side of social media.
Yeah.
That, no joke, the person that remixed that clip, the kid didn't know he was viral or anything like that. Like, he had no idea. But this guy remixed that clip and put it onto an actual song, and then split the profits or gave like all the profits to
I
the
didn't
kid.
know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. Wow.
And the kid is like 15 now. He was 9 in the video.
And now he's
so
made.
something he did 6 years
Yeah.
ago on video actually got him paid.
Yeah, that's
Like-
dope. That's dope. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like it really shows that there is a good side
Yes.
of social media
Yes.
and that there is a positive impact on social media, which is like so good to hear because like I'm super active on socials.
Yeah.
Like
I used to be. I'm starting to come back.
I tried to get more distant from it, but I'm super active on socials because it's my job.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
One, as a musician, like I have to be posting on there or else I'm going to have no visibility.
That's true.
2, I'm a social media manager / content creator. So I'm posting on other people's
Yeah.
pages for them. So like I have like 9 Instagram pages.
I'll tell you why.
crazy.
I'll tell you why though. I social media is good for a lot of things. One thing I do not like about social media is that it is not a real place. And a lot of people fail to distinguish their real, this is a real place where I am right now, what I am doing at this moment, rather than what I'm looking at on my phone. And that gets scary because I feel like you don't know who's in your corner anymore. You don't know. Some people don't even know how to interact anymore without social media. And a lot of the times your biggest followers on social media are your biggest haters in real life. And that's why I had to take a break from social media, because I realized that a lot of people will like and swarm around you during the moments where they want to like know what's going on, where your feed looks a little bit different right now. Why does your feed look a little bit different? You might be going through something, or did you and this person break up, or did this person get pregnant, or is this person fat now? Like I feel like that's kind of where maybe I'm looking at it like in a pessimistic way, but I noticed that a lot about social media.
Yeah.
And then when you're doing good, the strangers are the ones who support you the most, and
true.
it really isn't the people that you thought were your friends.
It's very true. That is
So-
a insanely true statement.
Yeah.
That like the people from the woodworks come out
Right.
when you're like putting out the things that really resonate to you.
Right.
That's when the people that you don't know are actually supporting you the
Right.
most. Whereas the people who know you, they already identify you as somebody.
Right.
And if you're not that somebody on social media, now they're thinking that you're fake. So now
Right.
they're like talking
Right.
about you, but you're like behind the screen, you're putting it up there and you're like, man, I really love this
Right,
one.
exactly,
Actually, like this is
exactly.
me, like this is
Exactly.
me. So no, it is. There's so many, good and bad things.
There's
of
a lot
social
of nuances
media.
to social media, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it for what it is now, because I love TikTok actually, and I realize like I'm not a TikTok star or anything, but I feel like one every day when the same 23 people like my video, and I'm like, you actually like what
Yeah.
I'm doing, like you like what I'm saying, or you like what I'm wearing, and it's not because I'm twerking on the gram, or
Yeah.
because I just got a BBL, or because like it's
Yeah.
for like just me wearing an outfit from Target on my way to my dental office job. Like it's pretty cool. It's different than Instagram. Way different.
It is. The platforms are much different. And like I basically study these platforms.
Right.
Like Joe and I are always talking about different advantages, and like had a conversation yesterday about this. Like, what are the positive impacts of social media? And like,
Right.
let's talk about that. Let's highlight that. Like, because a lot of the times the negativity gets highlighted, and you then forget to think, well, why am I even doing this in the first place?
Right.
Why am I posting in the first place? What is it? Is it like for me? Is it for them?
Is it for the likes?
It starts getting very confusing. So it's like, once you do see it become an impact in some fashion, that's when you're like, oh man, this is actually
Yeah.
pretty cool. And it brings
Yeah.
you back to a moment where you kind of respect the game of it again.
Right.
I'm trying to think, like I just had a question pop in my mind of I just lost it though. Man. I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Let me see if I can throw the ball in your court.
Yeah, throw the ball in my court.
It's like I can't. This is my first podcast.
This is your first podcast?
Yeah, this is my first podcast.
You're doing a great
Oh,
job
thank
so
you.
far. Seriously.
Thanks.
This podcast, no joke, this podcast sent me to therapy.
Really?
And I tell Joe that all the time. Like the week before or 2 weeks before I started actual therapy, I came on here and I talked about so many things that were bothering me in the moment. And I had just such an open platform to just talk about
Right.
it. And Joe is just like agreeing with me, and like he's like literally being like a therapist. So I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. And then I had gone through like a bunch of different things within, no joke, like that 2 weeks. And I found myself being like, you know what? It's time to get into
Yeah.
therapy, because I grew up with like a great life. Like if I had to like write it on a piece of paper.
Wow, I'm so happy you said that, because I want to bounce off that when you're done. Go ahead.
Like I grew up, if you wrote it all on paper, you'd be like, this is a great life. And it is. It was a great life. There is just so many little things that add up though that could impact you to
Right.
where like just because you had a great life doesn't mean that you don't need therapy, or you
Right.
don't need to talk, or you don't need to
Right.
like it's not just for the super broken down homes, or it's not for a super broken down life. Like I think people that feel as though they grew up like pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they feel bad that they
Right.
grew up pretty good
Right.
or something like that, and then they
Right.
have this like weird guilt.
Right.
And then they also feel like, well, because I grew up so like pretty much I grew up great, I don't have any problems.
Which is
and
absolutely
then they hide
incorrect.
it. And then
Exactly.
you go crazy.
Yes.
Literally, like I was going crazy because I was thinking all those thoughts. Like, why would I go to therapy? Like everybody would be like, why are you going to therapy? Because you had a great life. Your parents are still together. You had.
You know how many times I've heard that, and it's crazy. That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
Everyone walking down the street is going through the same things. Believe it or not, every single person that you brush shoulders with, you come in contact, we're all going through the same things.
Going through something.
It just looks different.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're going through ups and downs. Not everyone has a perfect family. Even though it looks good in white picket fence, both parents together, growing up in the suburbs, like me, like I should have no problems. I resonate with what you just said. But that's not true. That's absolutely incorrect. And I'm glad that like people are breaking the stigma of that, and that breaking that guilt feeling of like, I deserve to be whole too. Like just because it looks whole to you doesn't mean I am, know?
Yeah, I'm really the first person to admit, like, yes, I'm a super positive guy about almost everything, but that doesn't mean that there's not those. I like to break it down into numbers. Say there's 30 days in the month. I'm going to have my 5 days.
Right.
Like I'm going to have my 5
Men
bad
get
days.
periods. That's proof.
Yeah. Nah,
they do.
It's true though.
They do.
And like maybe it's not for a week span or 5 day span or whatever, however long, but it might be throughout the month. Like there's like, you know what I mean? Like you be going through stuff.
True.
Like
It's true.
And like, but I chalk that up as a huge win. Like if I had 25 amazing days that I could say to myself, that was a great day.
Right.
And I had 5 bad ones, like I won. Right. And if I could do that and rinse and repeat that every month over and over, I just won at life. Just
recognizing the bad ones is already a win.
Facts.
Because how can you make it better if you didn't recognize that it was bad to begin with?
That's so much facts. And that's something that therapy taught me, is to
not let your ego.
Yes. Like it's therapy and my mom. Because my mom is like, she always just tells me how it is. My girlfriend tells me how it is. Right. And that's why
as they should.
I love them so much, because they put me in my place every time.
Yeah.
And they know exactly when to do it too.
Right.
Like my mom will tell me all the time, she's like, Ryan, a bad day, you could have that. Like, be okay with that.
Right.
Like, you really think you're going to have 90 years of great days? Like, you're going to have 2,000 bad days in your life, 10,000 bad days. Like, you just have to learn to just recognize the bad day.
Exactly.
And not let it consume you.
Exactly.
Because once it consumes you, that's when I found myself just laying in my bed all day, not wanting to get up. But then when I wasn't allowing it to consume me, it was like, all right, it's a bad day, but we're still good. Like we can still get through it and still be productive to take it into the next day.
I didn't realize that when I was being consumed by those feelings, I guess, and wanting to be in bed all day, and I didn't realize that was depression.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I was living through depression. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, I don't have to feel like that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is great. This is amazing. And like, I could have a bad day and life will still be fine. Like, wow, this is great. Like, and that's what focusing on your mental health will do for you. That's what focusing on others. That's what focusing on my mental health has done for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Like, I'm always questioning myself. Like, should I be on some type of medication or something? Because I'm always thinking about a billion things.
I didn't know I needed to either.
And like, I'm always really curious of like, what does that step even look like? Because like, sometimes people get misguided.
So I'll tell you,
it's the opposite effect.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious because it seems like it's worked for you.
Yeah,
so
I'll tell you mine. I'm not ashamed.
Like,
I'm not ashamed.
Awesome.
I'll definitely tell you mine.
Tell me.
So I got to a point where I realized that I was literally pushing through just my regular day-to-day, where I felt like everything I did was I can't do this. Everything wrong made me cry. And it was an internal I'm going to explode. My world is crumbling. I can't get through this. I can't get through this. Like, I was suffering. Depressed. Like, if I'm not on autopilot, having to work just so I can pay my bills, then I'm sleeping because I don't want to think or feel. So I expressed all of that and more, obviously, in detail to my psychiatrist. And I realized that I needed to basically take medication to be able to combat my extreme anxiety. Extreme anxiety and clinical depression mixed together is just causes kind of like how can I put this without sounding crazy? Like it kind of, okay, so like extreme anxiety and clinical depression kind of together make you up and down. Like your moods are up and down. Like you can't really do things like a normal person, I guess, because you're not stable. Like your feelings are not stable throughout the day. So like one little thing, like me driving to work and my windshield wiper breaking, would ruin my whole day, as opposed to a regular person would just pull over and get a new windshield wiper. I didn't realize that was I couldn't control my moods. So now I have I take mood stabilizers, and they've changed my life.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. That's amazing for you to also be able to recognize that too, and like take the necessary step, go to the psychiatrist, then be able to really diagnose it correctly.
Right.
And like, you know, that's a blessing, because I definitely have heard like the opposite stories where it's like somebody takes a medication that was like super wrong for them. Yeah. And then it turns into something way worse than that. Like it can keep spiraling out.
I can say it's a journey, and it'll look different for everyone. And I can't say that will be my end all be all either, because treatments can change, just like if you're going through anything else with the doctor or any other medical condition, it can change along the way. But for right now, I will say that it's definitely what has worked and what is working for me. Slowly but surely helping me be that's not what's changing my life. I am changing my life with help, obviously, from the medication.
Yeah. Now, what are you looking most forward to in like the next 5 years of your life?
Oh, wow. I want to establish what I want to do with my career, what that looks like for me in the next few years. I definitely want to buy a house and have my wedding and start having kids. I want to do a lot of things to make my parents happy. A lot of people say don't do things for others, do it for yourself, but that's my purpose. I feel like, especially since my brother passed and wasn't able to accomplish a lot of things that he would have been on his way to accomplish because he was older than me, I would hope to accomplish within the next few years. I made a vision board about it, and so far, like, the graduation is knocked off. Engaged is knocked off.
There you go.
So
the vision board is everything. If you're out there and you need help getting into the next thing and you're not sure what you want, just literally vision it out, write it out, put it on a list, put it on a vision board, make a little mood board for yourself, like, and it will start slowly but surely getting checked off.
Yes, 100%.
You're living proof. What else? So what else do you have on there?
I have my house on there. I have a new car on there. I have a bunch of different vacation places because I want to be able to have time to actually take vacations. That's something that I lived 31 years of my life, like, not taking vacations, when people work and get a week vacation every year and 2 weeks when you make this. And I never took advantage of those. So, like, I just started doing that. Hopefully we'll take more of those. My vision board will grow as I do.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
This was amazing. It was nice to meet you and talk to you.
You too.
I think definitely I got like the vibe, you know what I mean? And like what your transformation looked like. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening.
Of course, 100%. Joe, thank you so much. Jojo, thank you.
Thank you, Joe,
Javi,
for having me.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, 100%. So this was Therapy Without a Degree, episode 290. And we're going to be back next week, next Tuesday. This pod will be dropping when? Tomorrow? Thursday? Next week. All right, this pod will be dropping next week. I'm pushing the limits on Joe back there. All right, guys, have a good one.